Chapter 11. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Hua Beiyan remembered the address and replied, "That's annoying. He must take his family doctor to check up on his grandma tonight, otherwise he will be very worried." 5 Elements Iron Deficiency did not respond to messages again. She seems to dislike others being so polite. Hua Beiyan silently remembered her little quirks. "Mr. Hua, are you sending a message to Mrs. Hua?" That the person next to me suddenly joked. I can't hide the smile on my face. The corners of Hua Beiyan's lips froze. He put away his phone and looked at the speaker. As he became the CEO of Hua Group, Mrs. Hua never appeared in front of others. Many people already doubted the authenticity of this Mrs. Hua, so he didn't deny it. The man thought he had acquiesced and complimented. Mr. Hua is really clean and self-sufficient and loyal to Mrs. Hua. How good-looking the chef just now is. Mr. Hua is not impressed. He is really a role model for our generation. Seeing this, the others immediately agreed. We are really curious about Mrs. Hua. What kind of person can capture Mr. Hua's heart? The old lady must be very satisfied with this granddaughter-in-law, right? That everyone vaguely understood that the relationship between Hua Beiyan and the Hua family was not very good, and the only person he cared about was Mrs. Hua. Hua Beiyan lowered his eyes and said calmly, "Well, Grandma does like her very much." Outside the door, Su Nange was waiting boredly when suddenly a familiar voice came. Su Nange, she turned to face a familiar handsome face. Hua Zichen was wearing a black suit. The face he remembered as always being gentle and considerate was now looking at her gloomily. "You are indeed here." Su Nange pursed his lips. When she was in college, she was always alone, like a loner. Hua Zichen was enthusiastic and cheerful, sticking to her side and considered her only friend. It's just that their identities are a bit awkward now. She hesitated. "Is something wrong?" Hua Zichen sneered. "Su Yin told me your life experience. Why did you hide it and didn't tell me? I hate mistresses and illegitimate daughters the most in my life, but I have been chasing people like you for 4 years like a fool. Is it fun?" Su Nange's heart suddenly seemed to be grabbed hard by a big hand. She never understood why Hua Zichen proposed to Su Yin when he clearly told her that he would give her a surprise at the graduation ceremony and hoped that she would not refuse again. So that's it, his parents were not harmonious, and he seemed to have an illegitimate sister. Su Yin simply revealed her identity and easily shattered the 4-year friendship between classmates. Su Nange took a step back and distanced himself from him. Hua Zichen stepped forward and asked, "Don't you have anything to explain to me?" Explain what? Explain why she is an illegitimate daughter. Why did she choose to be born from Li Wanru's belly? Su Nange sneered, "No." She turned to leave. People who have different opinions do not seek each other's side. Since he looks down on her background, it's okay not to make her a friend. Her decisive look made Hua Zichen inexplicably irritated. Seeing the girl getting further and further away from him, he suddenly panicked and grabbed her arm without thinking. "You can't leave." Su Nange looked back at him. "Is there anything else?" Hua Zichen's face was tense. He felt that Su Nange's distant and indifferent look was heartless. Anger welled up in my heart, coupled with an inexplicable grievance. He was obviously the one who let go first, so why did he act like he was about to be abandoned? He mocked, "You are still working here, which means you haven't found a formal job yet, right? Su Nange, why don't you come and be my life assistant?" Su Nange broke away from his pull and refused coldly. "I'm afraid I'm not qualified." Hua Zichen said, "You don't have to do anything. I have an apartment near the company. You just need to live there and take care of my daily life. I will give you 50,000 yuan a month." "Is that enough?" Su Nange's eyes turned cold, and his tone was as cold as winter. "Do you want me to be your lover?" Hua Zichen sneered and said, "You are definitely qualified for this. After all, your mother is a mistress. She has been exposed to it since she was a child, and she has a family background. I believe you must be professional." Snapped. Su Nange slapped him directly. "Hua Zichen, that's enough." Hua Zichen was beaten, but he smiled instead of angry. His eyes were paranoid and sinister. "Su Nange, believe it or not, I don't want you, and no one in Haicheng dares to want you. You can't find a job or a husband, and you will only be used as a plaything by others. In this case, why not choose me?" At least I can watch for the sake of being a classmate, I have more sympathy for you. I'll give you time to think about it. If you change your mind, come to me anytime. You have my phone number. Hua Zichen left these words and strode away. Su Nange laughed at himself. Turning around, he suddenly saw Hua Beiyan standing at the door of the private room. Hua Beiyan didn't like socializing, so he made an excuse and prepared to take Yi away. However, he didn't expect that as soon as he left the private room, he saw the scene unfolding in the corridor not far away. His eyes were deep and showed no emotion or anger. Yi said tsk to Su Nange, let me tell you why you didn't find a stable job after graduating from college. Instead, you still worked so many part-time jobs. It turned out to be the reason why Hua Zichen pressed you harder and harder. Su Nange. Yi sighed again. So there is nothing you can do to pester the boss, right? After all, in Haicheng, there are almost no people who dare to go against the Hua family. Su Nange narrowed his peach blossom eyes and did not refute. It's been 2 days, and this is the first time they've had a peaceful chat. Yi couldn't bear to say, boss, why don't we help her? She's so pitiful. Su Nange felt like he saw hope. Yes, help the poor child and go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with her to go through the divorce procedures. My child's company is still waiting to go public. But just when I thought of this, I heard Hua Beiyan say coldly, why should I make Hua Zichen unhappy because of an insignificant person? That he strode away from Su Nange. Is she pitiful? Although the girl pretends to be well-behaved, there is uncontrollable cunning and joy in her eyes. How can she be pitiful? It's obviously hateful. What's more, being able to get his personal itinerary shows that she is very scheming and very capable. The corridor quickly became quiet. Su Nange stood there and felt that Hua Beiyan was cold-hearted. Forget it, grandson is right, she only gets angry with people, so she is not angry with him. Su Nange went out and rode his electric bicycle home slowly. There is an old man at home. He can't stay out for a long time. Let's continue looking for him tomorrow night. Hua Beiyan got off work on time and came to an old community in the suburbs. Holding the fruit in his hand, he found a house according to the address on WeChat and knocked on the door. Grandma's familiar voice soon came from inside. Coming. Chapter 12 Mrs. Hua. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The door opens. Hua Beiyan looked at Mrs. Hua and saw that her face was rosy and she looked healthy. Only then did he look around. The room is neat and clean. The 60 square meter small second bedroom is very warm. There are 4 plates of light and nutritionally balanced meals on the dining table, which is very suitable for the elderly. It's just that the sound of running water is coming from the bathroom. Is this the 5 elements iron deficiency taking a bath? The door is made of frosted glass, and you can vaguely see a graceful figure of a girl inside. Hua Beiyan looked away as if he was electrocuted, feeling a little uncomfortable. The family doctor followed him and was about to enter the door, but he stopped him. The man turned sideways to block his view. Give me the instrument. Go and wait in the car. The family doctor nodded and left, closing the door considerately. Hua Beiyan simply and quickly measured the old man's blood pressure, blood sugar, heart rate, etc. Perhaps because the old man slept well last night, all the values were very healthy. The old lady said proudly, my granddaughter-in-law has taken good care of me. Seeing is believing. Hua Beiyan finally felt relieved. He glanced towards the bathroom again, and immediately put away the instruments. Since you're fine, I'll leave first. The old lady was stunned. Aren't you going to have dinner here? My granddaughter-in-law's cooking is delicious. Not very convenient. Hua Beiyan put down the examination instrument. Leave this here. The old lady rolled her eyes. Take it away. My granddaughter-in-law won't be able to use it if you leave it here. And I don't want Dr. Fong to come here. I want you to come and check me every day. That if the grandson comes here every day, won't he be able to see his grandson's wife? If the two develop a relationship, they can end their separation. The old lady felt that her fat great-grandson was waving to her. Just as Hua Beiyan was about to say something, the sound of water in the bathroom suddenly stopped. He stood up immediately, carried the medical kit and went out in a panic. Then I'll leave first. Come again tomorrow. Good. The moment he closed the door, the bathroom door opened. It was not as lively as Hua Beiyan imagined. Su Nange was wearing complete clothes and wiping his freshly washed hair. "Hey, where is your grandson? Let's go, why don't you say it's inconvenient? He is too pretentious and likes to look bad. Wife-in-law, do you dislike him because of this? You can change it. I'm not your granddaughter-in-law. You are." Su Nange was helpless. After getting along with her for 2 days, she found that the old lady was very kind and would depend on him in everything, but she was very stubborn on this matter. She dried her hair and had dinner with the little old lady. At 9 o'clock in the evening, Su Nange lit some soothing incense. The little old lady lay on the bed obediently and fell asleep soon after. She did her duty and sent another video to her grandson. The other party quickly replied, "Grandma is in good health, thank you very much." Su Nange, you're welcome. Grandson, how is that grandson doing today? Do you need help? Su Nange understood that he was referring to the circle of friends incident, and the corner of his lips curled up. No need. When Hua Beiyan in the RV saw this reply, the coldness on his face softened a bit. The girl didn't know her identity, so she kindly agreed to take her grandma in and took good care of her. In the end, he didn't repay the favor and asked him for help. How does he look like Su Nange? The two have nothing to do with each other, but they pester him in every possible way, trying to use him to intimidate Hua Zichen. Comparing the two, the difference between the two is obvious. Hua Beiyan sent a message, "I owe you a favor. If you have anything to do in the future, just ask." Su Nange didn't take these words to heart. The only thing she needs help with now is her divorce. Only Hua Beiyan's cooperation can help, and her grandson can't help. The next day, morning, Su Nange took the old lady to the largest luxury shopping mall in Haicheng to buy a change of clothes for her. The old man's grandson spends a lot of money, and she is obviously an old woman from a wealthy family, so she cannot afford to be wronged here. Sure enough, as soon as she entered the store, the old lady acted very naturally and seemed very familiar with the place. "Mrs. Hua likes the clothes from this store the most. The brand manager will send the latest models to her home every quarter for her to choose first. This is my first time visiting a store, it's quite novel, not far away." Su Yin held Su Wenzong's arm and said affectionately, "Dad, you are so busy, you don't actually need to go shopping with me." Su Wenzong smiled fondly. "Tonight is your first visit to the Hua family. The gifts given to the elders should not be underestimated, especially the old lady." Su Yin asked, "That grandma is said to be 87 years old. Why does the Hua family like her so much?" Su Wenzong lowered his voice. Hua Jiafang and Hua Beiyan have been secretly competing, trying to regain the identity of the person in power. Mrs. Hua has 20% of the shares in her hands. If you can please her, in the future, in Hua the family's status is now stable. Su Yin immediately said, "Does the old lady have any preferences?" Su Wenzong thought of the old lady he met from afar 2 years ago and said slowly, "She has Alzheimer's disease and has a weird temper, but she likes the clothes of the H family very much. Just do what she likes, even if she doesn't like her. And be sure not to offend her." Su Yin nodded immediately. The two entered H's house. Su Wenzong sat on the sofa, while Su Yin started shopping. She walked to the dressing room and suddenly saw Su Nange and an old lady. The old man just walked out of the fitting room and said, "My granddaughter-in-law, what do you think of this?" Granddaughter-in-law. Is this old lady the grandmother of her gangster husband? Su Yin curled her lips and saw Su Nange shook his head. The old lady tried another one, and Su Nange shook his head again. The old lady sighed, "Why don't these clothes look good?" A look of contempt flashed across Su Yin's face. "What doesn't look good is because you don't have the money to buy it, right?" She walked over and said, "Nange, what a coincidence. Is this your husband's grandma?" Su Nange's face turned cold and he ignored her. Su Yin looked at the old lady again. "Hello grandma, you haven't bought clothes from this brand before, have you? Every piece of clothes here is very expensive and requires temperament to hold it up. It is not suitable for ordinary people." The old lady suddenly huffed and held her chest. "Who are you scolding for having no temperament? Why are you so rude?" Su Nange hurriedly supported the little old lady, fearing that she would be angry. Su Yin continued, "Nange, with your status as a grandma, it is actually more appropriate to go to the wholesale market, where the goods are high quality and low price. Get away, Su Nange shouted sharply. The movement here attracted Su Wenzong's attention. He strode over. What's going on? Su Yin said aggrievedly. Dad, Nan Gu and her husband's grandma tried on many clothes but didn't buy them, so I made a small suggestion. Su Wenzong understood what she meant and looked at Su Nange with a frown. Then, he saw clearly the old lady being supported by Su Nange, and was startled. Mrs. Hua? Chapter 13 The Old Lady's Trick. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The nearly 90-year-old man's skin and flesh are saggy, and the facial features of his youth are no longer visible. She pressed her skinny hand against her chest, as if she was going to die in the next moment. Su Wenzong felt that he had thought too much. How could a person of Mrs. Hua's status come to the store in person? He was afraid that Su Yin would be touched by the old man, so he said seriously to Su Nange, "Okay, your sister is doing it for your own good. As for such a big reaction, isn't it shameful to make trouble here?" That the little old lady immediately looked at Su Nange. Granddaughter-in-law, is this your father? Su Nange narrowed his eyes. The title dad was unfamiliar to her, and her feelings for him were very complicated. When she was a child in the Su family, Li Wanru wouldn't let her get close to Su Wenzong. As a little girl, she hid in the darkness and secretly looked up at him. Watching him smile at Su Yin, watching him lift Su Yin up and spin around, his tall figure like a savior. So during the countless days and nights when she was beaten by Li Wanru and not allowed to eat, she imagined that daddy would fall from the sky and hold her out of the sea of suffering, even once, but no. He never cared about her, and when they met occasionally, he only told her to listen to mother more. The Su family's relationship with each other is very strange. It seems that they all accept Li Wanru's existence, but except for Mrs. Su, no one is willing to accept her as a little girl. Su Nange pursed his lips and did not answer the old lady's words. She looked at the clothes she had just tried on, took out a barely acceptable one and handed it to the waiter, preparing to pay and leave. Seeing this, Su Wenzong said, "I know you have no money, so I will pay for this dress and treat it as a gift to my in-law's grandma." Su Yin suddenly spoke, "Dad, I just went shopping and found that this dress in the whole store is the most suitable for giving gifts." The waiter next to him immediately smiled and said, "Miss, you have such good taste. This piece is purely hand-embroidered. It is the only one in the whole sea city. Maybe you can look at something else." When Su Wenzong heard this, his eyes lit up. "Then choose this one." That he looked at Su Nange. "This dress is for your sister. You can choose another one." Su Nange's peach blossom eyes were filled with unclear emotions. "Why? Your sister is going to visit the Hua family. This is a gift for Mrs. Hua. So I have to give it to her." Su Wenzong scolded. "Can't your husband and grandma, a little old lady, just wear whatever she wants? Can she be more important than Mrs. Hua?" Su Nange's attitude was firm. "No. Can't you be more sensible? Do you have to compete with your sister?" Su Nange found it funny. She didn't understand why she was competing with Su Yin when she was obviously interested in this dress first. Su Wenzong said again, "Let's do this. This dress is 50,000, and I will give you 200,000, which will also be considered as supplement for your wedding dowry." Su Yin said hypocritically, "Nan Gu, you haven't found a job since graduation. Please promise Dad quickly. Don't give up such a big benefit just to vent your anger on me. You will regret it later." Su Wenzong finally threatened, "Think about it carefully. If you insist on choosing this one, I will not help you pay." As expected of a veteran in the business world, he used threats and inducements just to buy Su Yin a piece of clothing. What a good father. Su Nange was too lazy to argue with them anymore. Just as he was about to take out his bank card to pay, the little old lady who had been silent suddenly held her hand down. "My granddaughter-in-law, I don't want this. It doesn't look good." Su Nange looked at her. "Grandma, the rest are not suitable for you." The little old lady was very stubborn. "Then I won't give in. She has already bought all the suitable clothes for this season. She picked out all the leftovers in the store. How could there be anything she liked?" And listening to their conversation, grandson's daughter-in-law bought this dress and planned to give it to Mrs. Hua. "Mrs. Hua, it sounds so familiar. Who are you?" The little old lady was a little confused. Seeing this, Su Nange didn't dare to persist anymore, and followed her wishes and said, "Then I won't buy it." Only then was Su Wenzong satisfied. "You are so sensible, why do you still need to waste so much talk? If you can't afford it in the future, don't just enter such a store, lest you be seen by acquaintances and lose the Su family's face." Su Yin also sneered, "I just sang harmony with the old lady, and the performance seemed real. It's not like I don't have money to buy it." She asked the waiter to pack the clothes, and then looked at Su Nange. "Thank you for letting me. When I marry into the Hua family, I will help you and your husband find a good job." Su Nange ignored her at all and prepared to leave with the old lady. Etc. Su Wenzong stopped her and handed her a check. "You'd better take this 200,000. The dowry agreed upon, for you can also supplement your life." Su Nange was slightly stunned. "That's not necessary. Are you too little? The Su family company belongs to Yin Yin's mother, and will only be left to Yin Yin in the future. This is the most I can give you," Su Wenzong said as if he was giving alms. "With these 200,000, you and your husband can set up a small stall to make a living. From now on, you can live your life properly. Don't expect extravagant things that don't belong to you." Su Nange had just thought that Su Wenzong had some fatherly love for her, but now she only felt ridiculed. "What doesn't belong to me? For example, visiting a shopping mall like this, or, you trying to seduce Mr. Hua?" Su Wenzong warned. "You are seeking your own death, and don't bring trouble to our Su family." Today, the clerk did not dare to provoke an old lady of this age, so he did not care about you. If Mr. Hua was angered, it was not because this old lady was playing tricks. "It will put an end to the trouble." Su Nange gave up completely. "Don't worry, I have nothing to do with your Su family for a long time." She left without looking back. After walking away, the little old lady held her hand and said, "My grandson, your father and your sister are really bad. Let my grandson protect you from now on. I guarantee that no one will dare to look down on you." Su Nange felt warm in his heart. "Okay." The little old lady said angrily, "Give those ugly clothes to the Mrs. Hua they mentioned. I don't want them." As soon as she finished speaking, the old lady's cell phone rang. She answered, and a male voice came from the other side. "Mom, why don't you and Hua Beiyan go home tonight? Zichen's fiancé comes to visit her for the first time to recognize her." The little old lady paused, and the things in her mind that had been so vague that she couldn't remember seemed to have been suddenly taken away. In a flash of lightning, she remembered who she really was. It turns out that she is the old Mrs. Hua who was taken advantage of. Thinking about being despised and ridiculed just now, the little old lady immediately gritted her teeth and said, "I will definitely go home." She hung up the other party's call and sent a voice message to Hua Beiyan on WeChat. "Grandson, I'm being bullied. You must go home at night and help me make the decision." After finishing the delivery, the little old lady grabbed Su Nange and said mysteriously, "My grandson's wife." I remembered my grandson's name. Chapter 14 Dog Man. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Nange asked, "What is it called?" She was quite curious about who the grandson was. Her work covers such a wide range of areas. Maybe they have met before. The little old lady waved to her, and Su Nange bent down, put his ear close, and heard, "I will only tell you one person, but don't tell anyone else." "Good." The little old lady cleared her throat and said, "His nickname is Go Wa Zi." Su Nange. The little old lady explained, "My grandson is born in the year of the dog. When he was born, he only weighed 3 pounds. The doctor said he would not grow up, so I gave him this name. It is easy to make a living with a bad name." Su Nange twitched the corner of his mouth and almost laughed. From the little old lady's words, you can tell that her grandson is the president of a company. Do his subordinates know that his name is Go Wa Zi? Just as she was about to ask his name, the old lady spoke again, "My granddaughter-in-law, the clothes here don't look good. Can you accompany me home to get 2 pieces tonight?" Su Nange just heard the voice message sent by the old lady to her grandson and knew that her grandson would also come back. The two had made an appointment to meet, so she didn't refuse. "Okay." After finding a clean place to have lunch outside, Su Nange originally wanted to send the little old lady home to rest, but she went to do Hua Bei's banquet. but the little old lady said, "I'm not tired at all. I'll go to work with you, and I'll come home with you when you get off work." She seemed to be afraid that Su Nange would regret it and not accompany her home to get clothes. What an old kid. Su Nange reluctantly agreed. They arrived at an official charity donation event. Su Nange arranged for the little old lady to go to the lounge, and then took a reporter's work pass to the venue and found a place to sit down. Today Hua Beiyan will make a donation on behalf of Hua Group. She sat in the middle of the first row, easily visible to him. She also said hello to the organizer that she would be chosen to stand up and ask questions later. In public, she would remind Hua Beiyan that he should go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to check his marital status. Hua Beiyan's face will definitely look very ugly by then. Su Nange had a wonderful thought. The event started, and soon the host mentioned the name of Hua Group. Su Nange was in high spirits, waiting for Hua Bei's banquet, and then he saw Yi Yi came on stage. Yi Yi glanced at Su Nange meaningfully. "I'm sorry, Mr. Hua has other plans today, but the donation from our Hua Group must arrive as scheduled." The smile on Su Nange's face froze. She took out her phone and saw the message Ji Ming sent her 5 minutes ago. "Boss, Hua Beiyan's recent itinerary has been temporarily changed. This man is such a dog." But it probably wasn't because of her. After all, in Hua Beiyan's eyes, she was just a dispensable person. It is estimated that it was discovered that the itinerary was leaked, and it could only be temporarily changed for safety reasons. Gee, who is he wary of? Su Nange continued the interview, and finally handed over the equipment and interview content to his colleagues at the same newspaper and asked them to leave first. She went to the lounge to pick up the little old lady, and then came to a car manufacturing factory. This is a division of Hua Group. The rest of Hua Beiyan's schedule can be cancelled, but he can come to the grassroots factory to inspect this kind of activity. The factory has already prepared for it, and he cannot change it temporarily, otherwise it will be disrespectful to so many workers. Sure enough, she and the little old lady waited for a moment at the door of the coffee shop outside the factory, and saw a low-key black Bentley driving into the factory gate. Su Nange asked the cafe staff to help take care of the old lady, and then walked over. She took out the temporary worker work card here and handed it to the doorman. The doorman glanced at it and said, "Sorry, today Assistant Yi explained that during Mr. Hua's inspection, all deliverymen and maintenance workers, as well as interns and temporary workers, no one is allowed in or out." Su Nange knew this would happen. Yi Yi really tried every means to prevent her from seeing Hua Beiyan. Su Nange curled her lips and smiled, then took out another work permit and handed it over. The guard stood up straight when he saw it, looking at her with admiration in his eyes. "Please come in." Su Nange took back his work permit and Shiran entered the door. She quickly found Hua Beiyan. The man was inspecting the workshop accompanied by the factory director. All the workers stayed outside the door. The entrance was guarded by bodyguards and they could not enter at all. Su Nange could only look at him from a distance through the glass window. The man is in a suit, his handsome face and noble temperament collide with the dim and cold machines around him to create a visual feast. He listened carefully to the factory director's introduction, and occasionally spoke to make the factory director look amazed. After 3 or 5 minutes, the factory director was already convinced by the newly appointed leader. Suddenly, the man seemed to feel something. He slowly turned his head and met Su Nange's eyes. Su Nange waved to him. Hua Beiyan frowned and looked away. At this time, Yi walked to the window and closed all the blinds with a bang, blocking out all eyes. Su Nange. She was invited out of the factory by the bodyguard again. Yi stood at the door and scolded the guard. "Didn't I tell you? Interns and temporary workers are not allowed in," that the guard whispered. "But she is not an ordinary temporary worker, she." Yi sneered and interrupted the guard. "She is really extraordinary. After all, how can ordinary people work so many jobs at the same time?" Yi was extremely bored and said angrily to Su Nange, "Miss Su, the boss didn't want to be familiar with you before, but you didn't know how to show appreciation and came to pester the boss again and again. If you dare to appear in front of the boss again, we will retaliate. Warning you for harassment." Su Nange sighed. "If you don't want me to continue to pester you, then go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to check. Mr. Hua and I are really husband and wife. Why don't you believe me?" Yi sneered. "The procedures for obtaining the certificate in China must be complete. There is no case where the person concerned can obtain it without being present. The lies you told are simply unbelievable and make people laugh. Only those who have lost their brains will believe your ridiculous words. Su Nange really couldn't make sense. She spread her hands and shrugged, and said helplessly, then I can only continue to pester. Yi sneered and said, do you really think you can meet our boss if you want? If you meet the boss again, it means that my assistant is incompetent. Then I will live broadcast and eat shit. Su Nange said nothing and turned to leave. It seems that strong measures will be used tomorrow. After picking up the little old lady, Su Nange sent a WeChat message to his grandson, Lafayette is going home to pick up some clothes. What is your home address? Sun Tzu quickly sent a location, another message, I will finish my work soon. Where are you? I will pick you up. Su Nange opened the position and took a glance, and was stunned. Manner number 1. Isn't this the Hua family? Chapter 15. Go to Hua's house. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Manor number 1 is a legend in Haicheng. It is located halfway up the mountain. The entire community covers an area of 3,000 acres, and the Hua family's old house occupies more than 2,000 acres. The remaining dozens of small villas are scattered around the Hua family. It is the most famous wealthy area in Haicheng. Su Nange thought that the old lady's house was one of those small villas and did not dare to think about the Hua family. She messaged back, no, we are already in the taxi. The little old lady looked tired and fell asleep after getting in the car. The taxi drove through the winding but spacious and clean mountain road, entered Manor number 1, and took them directly to the navigation location to leave. Su Nange looked up at the antique and elegant black door with exquisite carvings in front of him, and hesitated. Grandma, is this your home? The little old lady was sleepy and her eyes were a little dull. My granddaughter-in-law, I can't remember. Su Nange. She sent a message to her grandson, we seem to be going the wrong way. Sun Tzu, wait where you are, I'll be there soon. As the car drove all the way, Su Nange noticed that the nearest house to them was a 5-minute drive away, so it was really not suitable for walking around. She supported the little old lady and sat on the stone bench next to her. Suddenly, a BMW X7 stopped in front of them. Su Yin and Li Wanru got out of the back seat and rushed to them. Li Wanru frowned and scolded, Su Nange. It's really you. What are you doing here? Today, she accompanied Su Yin to visit Hua's house as a nanny. She saw a girl wandering in front of Hua's house from a distance, but she didn't expect that it was really her. Su Yin looked at the closed door of the Hua family. Nan Gu, are you here to pester Mr. Hua again? As soon as these words came out, Li Wanru shouted angrily, bitch, don't even look at what day it is today. Get out of here right now. If you ruin Yin Yin's recognition of marriage, I will never be done with you. Su Nange was really annoyed with them, but the little old lady was here, and she didn't want to conflict with them, so she suppressed her impatience and explained, I came to take the old man home, and I took the wrong road. Su Yin subconsciously said, isn't this your husband's grandma? How could she live in this community? Su Nange retorted, how is it impossible? Your family runs this community. Su Yin choked, but Li Wanru scolded, what are you pretending to be? Can your poor husband's grandma live here? She looked directly at the little old lady. Old thing, tell me, what villa number do you live in? Su Nange frowned when he heard this, and was about to say something when the little old lady suddenly stood up. I remembered. I live here. Granddaughter-in-law, come home with me. She grabbed Su Nange's hand and walked towards the main door of Hua's house. There is still 100 meters away from the gate, but as soon as he took 2 steps, Su Yin spoke. Nan Gu, you have made so many excuses, don't you still have to use the old lady as an excuse to go to Hua's house? Su Nange paused and looked ahead. Hua family. Although when she saw this magnificent door, she had some suspicions in her heart, but she couldn't connect the polite grandson on WeChat with the ruthless Hua Beiyan. Maybe the little old lady remembered it wrong. She was about to confirm again, but Li Wanru suddenly rushed over and grabbed the little old lady. You old immortal, you are so shameless for making up such lies to come to the house. You are not allowed to go to the Hua family to cause trouble. Su Nange was startled. He protected the little old lady with one hand and grabbed Li Wanru with the other. He pushed her away and said sternly, what are you doing? The little old lady is so old and can't stand any pushing. Li Wanru was pushed back repeatedly. After she stabilized her steps, she cursed angrily, "White-eyed wolf, you beat your own mother for such an old thing. I'm going to call the police and accuse you of being unfilial." Su Nange ignored her, but the little old lady immediately retorted, "My granddaughter-in-law is not unfilial, you are talking nonsense." Li Wanru sneered, "Old man, how poor have you become to send your granddaughter-in-law to another man to sell? What? She gave you a share? Or is this what your family does? You couldn't take care of yourself when you were young. You are a man, right? You are not serious. You shut up." Su Nange scolded and hurriedly looked at the little old lady. The little old lady had never been scolded like this before, and she was indeed trembling with anger. She put her hand on her chest, her body trembled uncontrollably, and she fell straight to the ground. Su Nange hurriedly supported her. "Grandma, what's wrong with you?" The little old lady took a deep breath and was speechless. Su Nange immediately took out the quick-acting Jiuxin pill from her pocket and opened the bottle cap only, to find that it was empty. Her pupils shrank. The elderly are in poor health and are not suitable for manual compression and cardiopulmonary resuscitation unless absolutely necessary. It is best to take medicine. She looked sharply at the door. The Hua family must have medicine. Even if the old lady is not a member of the Hua family, she is still a neighbor of the Hua family. They will not ignore death. Su Nange picked up the old lady and said, "Grandma, don't be afraid, I will take you to find medicine." But Su Yin grabbed her arm forcefully. "Nan Gu, don't do this. It's okay to rely on your elders when buying clothes. How can you come to the Hua family to touch porcelain? The Hua family won't let you in." She looked at the little old lady, a gloomy look flashed in her eyes. The old lady looked very unhappy. She looked like she was really dying. If she just disappears, Su Nange's husband will definitely hate her. Then let's see how she dares to hook up with men outside. Su Nange felt like he was going crazy at this moment. Her peach blossom eyes were filled with overwhelming anger, and she raised her foot to kick Su Yin. "Get away!" Her voice was hoarse. The next moment, someone hugged her legs tightly. Li Wanru sat on the ground, hugging her with all her strength without any image. "Do you think you are the only ones who can touch each other? Who can't? I'm going to die too. I'm going to be beaten to death by my own daughter. My chest hurts so much, I can't do it anymore. Even if I die today, I won't let this old immortal touch the Tsihua family." Su Nange's whole body was shaking with anger, and his eyes gradually became gloomy. She kicked Li Wanru away with all her strength, hit Su Yin's abdomen hard with her elbow, and strode forward. Su Yin bent down. Cold sweat broke out on his painful forehead. Li Wanru ignored the pain in her body and rushed forward to hug her legs, shouting loudly, "Here comes the murderer." Su Nange was worried about the little old lady in his arms, and couldn't get away for a while. At this time, a black Bentley drove slowly. Hua Beiyan got out of the car and asked sharply, "What are you doing?" Su Yin said hurriedly, "Mr. Hua, it's Nan Gu who insisted on taking a dying old lady to Hua's house to have porcelain. It's all my fault that I didn't stop her." Hearing this, Su Nange turned around slowly. Hua Beiyan's pupils shrank sharply after seeing the grandma she was holding. Slap in the face tomorrow. Chapter 16. She is married. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. I saw the grandma held by the woman. Her face was gray, and her arms were hanging down weakly. Hua Beiyan immediately strode towards them. He looked calm, but inside he was terrified. Grandma is the closest person to him in the world. Her health has been deteriorating in recent years, and the family doctor has already hinted that the old lady may not survive this year. He can't lose Grandma. When Su Nange saw him coming, she guessed something, but now was not the time to talk about this. She hurriedly said, "The old lady has a heart attack. She has just finished all the Suxiao Jiuxin pills she carried with her. She needs to take medicine immediately." After a pause, she added, "You'll be fine if you take the medicine in time." Hua Beiyan pursed his lips. He reached out to take Grandma and rushed into Hua's house without looking back. Su Nange did not follow her. her legs were still held by Li Wanru. Xu Yin looked at Hua Baiyan's leaving figure with confusion, and suddenly felt a strong uneasiness in her heart. Isn't she Mrs. Hua? How could Mrs. Hua be with Su Nange? She is Su Nange's husband's grandmother. Li Wanru let go of Su Nange, stood up, and patted the dust on her body. Mr. Hua is so nervous, probably because he is afraid that someone will be killed. Then the Hua family will be suspected of not saving his life, and it will not sound good if it spreads. She glared at Su Nange fiercely. Isn't it because of this that she led the old immortal to the Hua family? Xu Yin frowned and thought, too, you can't be sure that Nange's gangster husband is Hua Baiyan, right? She really thinks too much. At this time, the door of the Hua family opened and Hua Zichen walked out. Su Yin's eyes lit up and she said with a smile, Brother Zichen, just wait for me in the parking lot. Why are you here at the gate? Hua Zichen had displeasure on his face. Su Yin sent a message saying that she was almost there, but she had too many gifts, so she coquettishly asked him to go out and pick them up. He waited in the parking lot for a long time and saw no one, so he simply walked out to take a look. He saw Su Nange at a glance and paused slightly. In an instant, the impatience disappeared from his face, and he squeezed out some tenderness, and said softly to Su Yin, well, it's your first time to visit, I'm afraid you can't find the way. Su Yin trotted up to him, took his arm as if to declare her sovereignty, and said shyly, Brother Zichen, you are so kind. She asked tentatively, is Mrs. Hua at home? Exist. Always here. Haven't you been out today? Well, my great-grandma is not in good health and has been recuperating at home. Mrs. Hua lives alone in a courtyard and does not let them disturb her. Hua Zichen took it for granted, but Su Yin believed it and was completely relieved. Hua Zichen looked at Su Nange unscrupulously. He didn't miss any subtle expression on the woman's face, trying to find jealousy, envy, or unwillingness in it, but no, not a trace. His face gradually turned sinister. Su Nange was thinking about the little old lady and didn't pay attention to the affectionate drama between the two. Now she is basically certain that the grandson is Hua Baiyan. She looked at the door and wondered if she would be stopped if she entered now. There was a sudden darkness in front of him. Hua Zichen stood in front of her and said directly, Su Nange, did you come to me to figure it out? Su Nange. Hua Zichen sneered and said something very vicious, just call me when you figure it out. Who allowed you to come to the Hua family? Can you, an illegitimate daughter, enter the Hua family's gate? Su Nange pursed his lips. That stubborn look made Hua Zichen suddenly soften. If you really want to go in and have a look, you can. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Su Yin. Brother Zichen, you misunderstood. Nan Go is waiting for her husband's grandmother. The old lady just suffered a heart attack and was carried in by Mr. Hua for rescue. Hua Zichen was slightly startled. Husband? Su Yin smiled. Yes, I haven't had time to tell you that Nan Go is married. Hua Zichen's eyes suddenly turned red. He gritted his teeth and said, Su Nange, who is that man? He looked like he was catching someone raped. There was sarcasm in Su Nange's eyes. Hua Zichen, who my husband is, has nothing to do with you. Hua Zichen's voice suddenly increased. Why is it irrelevant? I want to see who dares to marry you without my consent. Su Yin hurriedly replied, I heard from Nange's mother that he is a little gangster. Hua Zichen clenched his fists and said without hesitation, are you going to abuse yourself like this? That's okay. An illegitimate daughter and a gangster are really a perfect match. Su Yin continued to add fuel to the fire. Nan Go is also very reluctant, so he always pesters Mr. Hua. Su Nange sneered coldly, Su Yin, you call yourself a lady, but why are all your thoughts in your mind about male thieves and female prostitutes? Nothing else. Su Yin's face froze and she clenched her fingers. She sighed, Nange, I know you are here to take revenge on me and Brother Zichen, but Mr. Hua has been married a long time ago, and you shouldn't destroy other people's marriages. Hua Zichen was furious when he heard this. He had been waiting for Su Nange's call for the past 2 days, thinking that if she surrendered and begged for mercy, he wouldn't be able to let her go, but it turns out that she has already found her next home. He was furious. I'm just asking, why did your husband's grandma get sick in front of my house? So you came to see my uncle. Su Nange, why are you so shameless? He was furious and furious, pointing at Su Nange. He told the guard, "Do you see clearly? Remember this face, and she is not allowed to step into the Hua family." Su Yin lowered her head and covered her lips with pride. She can still be half the owner of the Hua family's front door. However, the next moment, the housekeeper of the Hua family walked out of the door. She scanned everyone one by one and came to Su Nange. "Miss Su Nange, sir, please come in." Su Yin was stunned, Hua Zichen was stunned. Su Nange raised his eyes and looked at the doorman with a half-smile. "So, can I go in now?" The guard glanced at Hua Zichen cautiously and opened the door without hesitation. He still understands who has the final say in the Hua family. The Hua family is very big. After entering, a shuttle bus took Su Nange directly to the door of the main house. The butler's attitude was respectful. "The old lady is fine. She and her husband are waiting for you in the living room." Su Nange felt relieved. As soon as she got out of the car, she saw the Su family's BMW X7 parked in the parking lot not far away. Su Yin and Li Wanru, led by Hua Zichen, walked over aggressively and met Su Nange in front of the door. Li Wanru glared at her. "Mr. Hua probably asked you to pick up your grandma. After picking her up, you should be sensible and leave quickly. Don't dirty the Hua family's carpet, you bastard." Following these words, several people entered the living room together and immediately saw Mrs. Hua sitting at the head of the sofa. The little old lady glared at them and said angrily, "Bad woman, who are you calling a scumbag?" Chapter 17 Slap Xu Yin in the face. You are listening at NovelsShe. The little old lady now changed into luxurious clothes, but her complexion was still not very good. Hua Beiyan sat on her left side coldly. Sitting on the right is a man in his 60s, Hua Baiyan's father. Sitting on the sofa on the side was a middle-aged couple in their 40s. They were Hua Baiyan's eldest brother and sister-in-law, and they were also Hua Zichen's parents. Although no one introduced the identity of the little old lady, it must be Mrs. Hua who can take the main seat in the Hua family. Li Wanru stood there blankly. You. I kept saying you for a long time, but couldn't say a complete sentence." Su Yin's legs weakened and she almost fell to the ground. Fortunately, Hua Zichen helped her up. Hua Zichen wondered, "What's wrong with you?" Su Yin's hands were shaking. She was originally a high-ranking member of the Hua family, and every elder here was someone she tried her best to please, but before she even entered the door, she offended the old lady. She suddenly smiled bitterly. "Nange, why did you lie to us and say that Mrs. Hua is your husband's grandmother? It made us disrespectful to the old lady." Su Nange instantly felt that several suspicious eyes in the room were looking at her. Li Wanru also reacted. "Unfilial daughter, you know that the old lady has Alzheimer's disease, but you dare to trick her. What do you think of the Hua family? Kneel down and apologize immediately." Su Nange's eyes darkened. This was an attempt to divert the conflict and put all the blame on her, so that Su Yin could clear her name. What a good idea. Snapped. A teacup was thrown over by the little old lady and hit Li Wanru directly. The scalding tea inside spilled all over her, but Li Wanru didn't dare to scream. "Damn it!" Mrs. Hua said angrily. "She is my granddaughter-in-law." Li Wanru endured the pain of the burn and shouted, "Old madam, you were deceived by her. I'm pretty sure her husband is just a punk. There's no need to argue. Wouldn't it be nice to just ask the person involved?" Hua Zichen's mother spoke. "Bei Yan, is she really the daughter-in-law you hid outside but didn't bring home?" Su Nange suddenly looked at Hua Beiyan, and then heard the expected answer, "No." The man was as cold and heartless as ever. What an ungrateful villain who repays kindness with hatred. Su Nange's peach blossom eyes flashed with anger. Su Yin looked happy and breathed a sigh of relief. Li Wanru curled her lips. "I'm just going to say that Su Nange did all this." Su Nange sneered and was about to speak when he heard the man's deep voice again. "Grandma mistakenly recognized her, so I asked Miss Su to help take care of Grandma for a while." Su Nange, okay, she admits she was just a little loud to her grandson. Everyone was silent. No one expected such a development. After a while, Su Yin lowered her head. "So that's it, Nangu, why don't you tell us the truth? If you had told us earlier, this kind of misunderstanding would not have occurred." Miss Su Yin. Hua Beiyan was sitting on the sofa. His posture was casual, but he was very powerful when he spoke, hiding behind others and shirking responsibility when things happen. Is this how the Su family teaches their daughter? Mrs. Hua was prompted by these words and said angrily. Okay, do you think I have a brain problem and can't see these little tricks of yours? You made a mistake and didn't repent, and you still tried to divert trouble and blame others. You two are really shameless. Mrs. Hua looked directly at Hua Zichen. Break off the engagement. I don't recognize this great-grandson's wife. Su Yin's whole body was shocked. The marriage she worked so hard for so long cannot just be lost. She looked at Hua Zichen, but she saw that the man looked dazed, his eyes always looking at Su Nange. Obviously he had not yet recovered from her anger about being married. Su Yin clenched her fingers, she lowered her head and walked to Hua Zichen, tears rolling down her face. Brother Zichen, it's my fault. Don't worry, even if the marriage is cancelled, the person I promised to introduce to you will do it. Hua Zichen came to his senses. Su Yin also wants to help him introduce Dr. Nan. Currently, Dr. Nan is one of the best among China's new energy projects. He hurriedly said to Mrs. Hua, Grandma, it's not surprising that Su Yin doesn't know. Please forgive her. Besides, the two families have already paid the betrothal gift, so it's really difficult to break off the engagement. Mrs. Hua took a deep look at him and said, when you grow up, I can't control you anymore. You can do whatever you want. The old lady understands a truth well, not deaf or dumb, not a family man. His parents make the final decision regarding his great-grandson's affairs, and she doesn't want to interfere, but, Hua Zichen's mother smiled and said, Grandma, did you forget to give me a greeting gift? Mrs. Hua lowered her eyelids. I will ask someone to transfer 180,000 to Zichen. Hua Zichen's mother's face froze. But didn't you say before that you would give the young couple 2% of the shares? You were afraid that they would be short of money as newlyweds. If you want to say who is the richest person in the Hua family, it must be Mrs. Hua. She comes from a wealthy family in Kyoto, has a rich dowry, and controls 20% of the Hua family's shares. Hua Zichen's mother had long wanted to get married and wanted a lot of money from her. It was originally agreed upon, but the old lady suddenly changed her mind. Mrs. Hua looked at her with a half-smile, and said willfully, I am not satisfied with this great-grandson-in-law, so I won't give it to her. Su Yin's face turned pale and she felt severely humiliated. The Hua family has many servants, so this word will definitely spread, and then the whole Haiqing will know that she has been abandoned by the old lady. Face is the most important thing for the daughter of a wealthy family. The old lady trampled on her face today. The little old lady didn't care about this. After leaving these words, she directly took Su Nange and took Hua Beiyan to the yard where she lived. Then she asked Hua Beiyan to help her well entertain her granddaughter-in-law on the pretext of urgent urination, and then hurriedly led them away. In the blink of an eye, there were only two people left in the yard. The night is as dark as ink. Su Nange and Hua Beiyan stood side by side, and she realized that the man was actually a head taller than her, about 1.88 meters tall. Didn't the old lady say that he was very thin when he was born? While he was cursing, Hua Beiyan suddenly looked at her, frowning, with implicit disgust. Is the 5 elements lacking iron? Not to be outdone, Su Nange suddenly looked at him seriously. Gawazi. Hua Beiyan's face was ashen. She even coaxed Grandma to say this. Sure enough, my thoughts are not pure. Perhaps it was an accident that Grandma got entangled with her, and there was no trace of calculation in it. But this woman was kind enough to take in her grandma, maybe because her grandma accidentally revealed her identity. Su Nange choked him, but did not forget about the business. I remember you said you would do me a favor before. Can you go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with me to check your marital status? Hua Beiyan looked gloomy and said impatiently. Okay, then go. If it's not true, I hope you won't use Grandma to pester me anymore. Chapter 18 Marriage Certificate. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. As if hearing their argument, the little old lady poked her head out of the window. Bad boy, are you bullying your granddaughter-in-law? Hua Beiyan's face stiffened. No. The little old lady looked at Su Nange dubiously. My granddaughter-in-law, is it true? Su Nange glanced at him with a half-smile, and saw a trace of nervousness on his expressionless face. She smiled and said, not really. The man breathed a sigh of relief. The old lady smiled and said, no, that's fine. Dinner is ready, come in quickly. That their dinner is relatively simple, 4 dishes and 1 soup are enough for 3 people, it's just that the little old lady didn't have much appetite, so she put down her chopsticks after taking 3 or 2 bites. She said tiredly, "My grandson, I'm tired, let's go home." Su Nange advised her, "Don't bother, just rest at home tonight. This small courtyard is like a small nursing home, equipped with all kinds of medical equipment," but the old lady grabbed her hand nervously. "Then can you stay with me?" Su Nange pursed his lips. She glanced at Huobeiyan. In fact, she doesn't trust the little old lady, but the dog man dislikes her so much and suspects that she is using the old lady to get close to him, so she will definitely not agree. The man was silent for a moment. "Okay." Then he glanced at her meaningfully. "The meaning is obvious, he is doing it for grandma to let her have other ideas." Su Nange twitched the corner of his mouth. The little old lady was satisfied. "Okay, I will be wherever my granddaughter-in-law is." After dinner, Su Nange sent the old lady back to her room to rest. The old lady must have been really tired today and had another illness, so she fainted and fell asleep while holding her hand. She slept extremely restlessly. As soon as Su Nange let go, the old man immediately started groping in his sleep, shouting granddaughter-in-law. Su Nange had no choice but to sit by the bed and stay with her. Outside the window, Huobeiyan looked serious and asked, "Grandma, what's going on?" That the family doctor had studied psychology. He sighed and said, "Although I don't know why the old lady identified this girl, I can more or less guess why the old lady is so uneasy, for fear that her granddaughter-in-law will leave." "Why?" The family doctor glanced at Huobeiyan and said, "The old lady probably feels that she can't survive this year. She is afraid that if she leaves, you will have no ties to you. The granddaughter-in-law is the only person she can stay with you." Huobeiyan was stunned for a moment, with uncontrollable emotions swirling in his dark eyes. It took a long time for him to calm down again. He stood in the moonlight, as if he wanted to completely merge with the darkness behind him. After an unknown amount of time, the man suddenly turned around and strode towards the main house. Su Yin had a hard time eating this meal. Because of her, Changfeng lost 2% of its shares. Huazichen's mother, Lu Meizhen, was very dissatisfied and spoke to her with both guns and sticks. "Isn't Su Nange your illegitimate daughter? How come everyone can please the old lady, but you can't?" Su Yin could only lower her head and apologize. "Auntie, I'm not as sweet-tongued as Nan Gu, and I know how to coax people." Lu Meizhen sneered, "I don't care what method you use, you must get these 2% shares back. Otherwise, don't even think about entering the Hua family." Su Yin has trouble to say. After finally finishing her meal, she was finally able to say goodbye, but before leaving, Huobei left the banquet and returned. The man was tall, and he felt a strong sense of oppression as soon as he entered the door. His eyes were blazing, and after scanning the leftovers on the dining table, his face became even more ugly. "Grandma didn't eat anything tonight, but they are having fun here." Lu Meizhen caught a glimpse of his expression and didn't dare to speak. Huazichen's father, Huiyuanjie, frowned and asked, "Bei Yan, why are you here?" Huobeiyan ignored the nominal eldest brother and just looked at Su Yin. Since the engagement has not been broken off, she is now considered a member of the Hua family, right? Everyone didn't know why. "Yes. Since you are a member of the Hua family, you must abide by the rules of the Hua family." She disobeyed her elders today and was punished by kneeling in the ancestral hall all night. Huobeiyan couldn't help but wave directly behind him, and 2 bodyguards walked up to Su Yin. "Miss Su, please." Su Yin was stunned, kneeling in the ancestral hall all night. How could she, who had been pampered since childhood, be able to hold on? She looked at Huazichen for help, but I saw that men did not dare to resist the power of those in power. She took a deep breath and could only follow the bodyguard. Before leaving the house, she heard Huazichen ask, "Uncle, where is Su Nange? Is she gone?" Then came the man's warning reply, "She is my guest and will stay at Hua's house tonight." Su Yin and the bodyguard came to the ancestral hall. The bodyguard said, "Sir, you have not married yet, so you cannot enter the Hua family ancestral hall, so just kneel outside. There is a blue brick floor outside." Su Yin wanted to say something, but the 2 bodyguards put their hands behind their backs and looked at her coldly. "Miss Su, please." It's October and it's already very cold at night. Su Yin was shivering from the cold, and the biting cold penetrated from her knees into her bones. She wanted to be lazy, but the two bodyguards were staring at her like door gods. Although he didn't say anything, he was still chilling, thinking again of Su Nange lying in the warm and soft bed at this moment. Su Yin gritted her teeth with hatred, but she can only stay in Hua's house for one night, but she can stay there for the rest of her life. She was about to meet Dr. Nan, and she had to play the Dr. Nan card well. When Su Nange woke up, he was already lying on the bed. There was also a small gray blanket wrapped around her body, which did not match the decoration style of the little old lady's room. She didn't think much about it. After getting up and washing up, she had breakfast with the little old lady and Hua Beiyan. There was a plate of fried sugar cakes on the dining table. The little old lady immediately picked one up. Hua Beiyan frowned. Grandma has high blood sugar and is not suitable for eating such high-fat and high-sugar food. When he was thinking about how to stop her, he heard the girls say lightly, "Grandma, this candy cake is not suitable for you." Then, the greedy and stubborn little old lady, who had been told by the doctor not to take in food or salt, turned her hands in the air and put the candy cake into Su Nange's bowl. The little old lady smiled flatteringly. "My granddaughter-in-law, I pinched it for you." Hua Beiyan. He looked at Su Nange carefully, wondering why his grandma listened to her words so much. Su Nange ate the candy bag unceremoniously, then looked at Hua Beiyan. "By the way, you will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau later. You need to bring your ID card and household registration book." The little old lady asked curiously, "Why are you going to the Civil Affairs Bureau?" Su Nange said casually, "I lost my marriage certificate. Please replace it." A marriage certificate is required for divorce, and she is really not a perfunctory old lady. Unexpectedly, as soon as these words came out, the little old lady said, "It's not lost." She hurriedly entered the bedroom, quickly took out 2 red marriage certificates, and handed them to Su Nange and Hua Beiyan. Chapter 19. She always knew. You are listening at NovelsShe. Su Nange stared at the marriage certificate in his hand dumbfounded. She suddenly realized that the little old lady had called her granddaughter-in-law when she first met her. She had always known that they were married. Su Nange felt like he had caught a clue. She immediately asked, "Grandma, why is this marriage certificate here with you?" The little old lady was stunned and her eyes became a little confused. I can't remember clearly." Su Nange continued to ask, "Then how did Mr. Hua and I get married?" The little old lady continued to shake her head. "I don't remember." Su Nange was a little anxious. "Grandma, think about it carefully." "Enough," Hua Beiyan scolded. His tall figure stood between her and the little old lady. His eyebrows were cold. "Miss Su, is this certificate true?" "Certainly." Hua Beiyan's eyes were dark. Then next, "Are you going to say that you don't need to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau?" It turns out that her purpose is here. First, he used the above-board entanglement with the Civil Affairs Bureau to pave the way, and then lured Grandma to take out this fake ID and make him believe it was true. If he hadn't seen his grandma obeying her words just now, he might have believed it. Su Nange felt a hint of murderous intent in the man's tone and felt baffled. "It's okay if I don't go today. You can't just go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce." For 2 years, they were a legal couple, which involved many property division issues and required a divorce agreement to be signed first. "No." After Hua Beiyan finished speaking, he stared at Su Nange carefully, but the girl was slightly stunned, and then said obediently, "It's up to you." Is your acting so good that you won't shed tears even when you see the coffin? Or is this marriage certificate real? Hua Beiyan suddenly felt unsure. He simply picked up his marriage certificate and went out first, "Waiting for you in the parking lot." Su Nange smiled reassuringly at the little old lady and walked out. The man walked so fast that she almost had to jog to keep up. As soon as the two arrived at the parking lot, they saw Li Wanru standing there holding Su Yin with a distressed look on her face. Su Yin was pale, sneezing, and her legs were shaking. After seeing her, Li Wanru's eyes lit up. "Nan Gu," she walked over quickly, walked around Hua Beiyan fearfully, came to her, and said confidently, "You must help your sister." Su Nange raised his eyebrows. "I don't understand why these two people are here so early in the morning. Is it possible that you didn't leave last night?" She didn't say anything, but Li Wanru kept talking. "Nan Gu, you are an illegitimate daughter, but the Su family raised you regardless of your background. Even if you don't care about merit but hard work, you should repay the Xu family. Your sister is nicer to you. Not only does she let you go to school with her, she also shares your sister's clothes with you. Also, you were so weak when you were born that you couldn't survive. Your mother didn't produce milk, so you stole your sister's milk to survive. The Xu family didn't plan to take us in back then. It was because you and your sister were born on the same day that Mrs. Xu and your father kept us. So, you owe your sister, you have to be good to her all your life. Xu Nange had not heard these familiar words for 10 years. I think that when I was a child, I believed these lies, worked like a cow in the Xu family, and was bullied by Xu Yin at will. Now I just feel ridiculous. It is true that the Xu family raised her, but it is stipulated by law for parents to raise their children. If they ignored her, they would have committed the crime of abandonment. She did go to school with Xu Yin, but she had to help Xu Yin carry her school bag to and from school, and she had to be her little follower in school. If Xu Yin coughed one day, it would be because she didn't take good care of her and she would be beaten by Li Wanru. In school, she could only take the last place in the exam because she couldn't surpass Xu Yin's limelight. And clothes, her parents never prepared them for her, so she could only wear what Xu Yin didn't want, so her clothes were always shorter. Mrs. Xu did buy her a new dress, but as soon as she put it on, Li Wanru took it off and gave it to Xu Yin, saying she didn't deserve it. She can't be more beautiful than Xu Yin. As for being weak, which baby can be starved for 4 or 5 days without becoming weak? Xu Nange's eyes became more and more sarcastic. Li Wanru didn't notice anything strange about her at all. After saying those words, she immediately said, now that you have grown up, you finally have the opportunity to repay the Xu family. Nange, doesn't Mrs. Hu listen to you very much? Go and ask her give that 2% share back to your sister. Xu Nange lowered his eyes and smiled, you are right. Li Wanru looked happy, thinking that she had been persuaded by him, but the next moment she heard the girl say softly. I'm just a humble illegitimate daughter. How could Mrs. Hu listen to me? Li Wanru was stunned and was about to say something else. Xu Nange strode past her and went straight to Hu Baiyan's car. Let's go. Hu Baiyan. He looked at the girl sitting in the back seat and wanted to say that the driver hadn't come yet. It can be seen that Li Wanru seems to want to chase after her. Hu Baiyan sat directly in the driver's seat, closed the door with a click, then slowly fastened his seatbelt, started the car, and left. The black extended version of the Bentley luxury car drove smoothly on the road. Hu Baiyan looked through the rearview mirror and could see the girl looking out the window, with a pale expression on her delicate and beautiful face. He looked away and continued driving. It's just that the words he originally wanted to warn him were never spoken again. The car soon arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. As soon as he parked the car, Yi knocked on the driver's window. Hu Baiyan opened the window, and Yi's voice came in. Boss, the driver said you drove away by yourself, so I was so scared that I quickly chased after you according to the location. Did something happen? Without. Hu Baiyan, as always, cherished words like gold. Yi looked at the Civil Affairs Bureau again. Why are you here? Are you really suspicious of Xu Nange? Don't worry, I told you that she will never see you again, otherwise I will. Live broadcast eating. Before Yi finished speaking, he heard a lazy female voice. He froze and slowly looked towards the back seat, and saw Xu Nange's peach blossom eyes were a little narrow. Which studio is your live broadcast room in? Yi was stunned. The three of them entered the Civil Affairs Bureau and came to the service window. Yi was the first to ask, hello, I would like to ask, if I am not present, can I get the certificate? Staff, absolutely not. Did you hear that? Yi looked at Xu Nange mockingly, glanced at the marriage certificate in her hand and sneered, you even prepared a fake certificate? I will call the police now. I will sue you for forging documents and harassment. Hu Baiyan handed over the marriage certificate in his hand. Please check whether this marriage certificate is authentic. Chapter 20 Why Get Married? You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The staff member gave him a strange look, took the marriage certificate, and entered the query information into the computer. Hu Baiyan pursed his lips. Suddenly I felt that his behavior was ridiculous. She was sure that she was not married at all, yet she came here by accident, even delayed a very important meeting. the staff quickly gave him a reply, it's true. Hua Beiyan was slightly stunned. Yi heard the staff's words and subconsciously exclaimed, how is that possible? Did you register the wrong information? That the staff member glared at him, what nonsense are you talking about? Marriage is a serious matter. Both parties who come to register must carefully check their identities and sign a guarantee. Guarantee, Su Nange said, can you see our letter of guarantee? Please get the guarantee letter. Hua Beiyan spoke at the same time. The two looked at each other and immediately looked away. The staff member stood up helplessly. You and your wife really have a tacit understanding. Okay, I'll go find it for you. He came back quickly, holding the registration information of the two people in his hand, took out the guarantee letter and handed it to them. Su Nange discovered that the handwriting on it was indeed hers. Yi shouted from the side, boss, this is your handwriting. Su Nange thought for a moment and then looked at the cameras around him. Hello, can you look at the video of the day we registered again? Staff, sorry, we only keep the video for half a year. The staff repeatedly assured that the marriage certificate must be issued by two people present at the same time, and there would be absolutely no mistakes in their work. The three finally had no choice but to walk out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Standing at the door, Yi said blankly, boss, what should I do now? Hua Beiyan's eyes darkened. Su Nange raised her peach blossom eyes. Divorce. Divorce. The two spoke in unison again. Yi was stunned for a moment and then asked, what about divorce now? Do you want to discuss the terms of divorce? I'll have a lawyer contact you. Talk to my lawyer. Hua Beiyan and Su Nange spoke in unison again. After the two of them finished speaking, they couldn't help but look at each other. Su Nange laughed and said simply, how about we each ask lawyers to draft an agreement and take a look at it first? If there are any problems, let the lawyers discuss it later. Yi sneered, how can you afford a lawyer like this? Hua Beiyan nodded in agreement. Su Nange ignored Yi and took out his mobile phone. Mr. Hua, add a WeChat account so that we can contact you later. Hua Beiyan paused, then took out her phone meaningfully and opened the WeChat QR code. She saw Su Nange scanned it, and then a chat box appeared on her phone with the note, grandson. His face suddenly darkened. Su Nange. She forgot that they had already added her on WeChat. Facing the man's stinky face, she coughed, the note was obtained at will, I will change it. She blocked her phone and changed grandson to Gawazi, then he said see you later, hailed a taxi and left. Looking at her back, Yi looked at Hua Beiyan hesitantly, boss, you are really a couple, right? That the two of them had such a tacit understanding just now. Hua Beiyan glanced at him, find the best divorce lawyer, draft an agreement, and protect the property outside. Yi stood up straight, yes. After saying this, Yi suddenly realized something, I understand, the marriage must be the fault of that woman. Now that I can't see your heart, I decided to share your money. No wonder she has the money to invite you. Lawyer, if we file a divorce lawsuit with you, even if we take away a little bit of the fur, we can still get a lot of legal fees. Yi gritted his teeth angrily. Don't worry, I will never let her take away a penny from you. I must not let him take away a penny from me. In the taxi, Su Nange was also calling Ji Ming, find the best divorce lawyer. No problem. Ji Ming gossiped, boss, what happened to your marriage? You and Hua Beiyan don't remember it. It can't be that both of you have lost your memory, right? Su Nange said calmly, do you think you are reading novels? Ji Ming, aren't you just curious? It's ridiculous and exciting. I wish the Civil Affairs Bureau would send me a wife someday. Su Nange sighed silently, and then said after a while, there is someone who definitely knows what's going on. Who? Mrs. Hua, can't she remember? Are clinical drugs for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease still in the experimental stage? Su Nange frowned and said, we need to speed up, otherwise it will be too late. What's too late? Su Nange lowered his eyes and did not answer this question. She soon returned home. After opening the door and entering the familiar room, she suddenly found that the small two-bedroom apartment of 60 square meters seemed a bit empty. At this moment, the little old lady walked in from the corridor carrying a suitcase. Daughter-in-law, are you back? I have been waiting for you for a long time. I brought a lot of clothes this time. Su Nange paused for a moment and suddenly smiled. On that day, the most famous divorce firm and lawyer in Haicheng received 2 commissions to draft divorce agreements. Both parties are anonymous, and the requirements they put forward are the other party cannot take away a cent of my money. The conditions are quite harsh, the assistant lawyer complained. I have seen so many divorced people, but I have never seen such a heartless one. One client is a man, and the other is a female. Both men and women are equally cruel. Lawyers are used to seeing loving couples turn into enemies, and there are cases even more ruthless than this, he said with a smile. Easily earn 2 amounts of money with one contract. When you are ready, send it to our employer. Hua Group, top floor. Hua Beiyan has been busy since he returned from the Civil Affairs Bureau. When I received a call from home saying that Grandma was looking for her granddaughter-in-law again, it was already getting off work. Grandma needs to do a physical test every day to ensure various values. He frowned slightly, subconsciously opened WeChat, found 5 elements iron deficiency, wanted to post something, but didn't know how to say it. It seems that after knowing that the 5 elements deficient in iron is Su Nange, he has always felt awkward. He flipped through the chat history at random. The 2 of them had been chatting very casually before, like old friends, especially when he helped the other party to curse. Wait, the person she scolded in the restaurant that day seemed to be, maybe, herself? Hua Beiyan's face turned dark again instantly. At this time, the phone vibrated. It was a divorce contract sent by 5 elements iron deficiency. Mr. Hua, the property division in the agreement is my bottom line. Do you think it fits? Property division, is this woman really planning her marriage for money? As soon as Hua Beiyan opened the contract, the door was pushed open and Yi walked in. Boss, the investigation results on your marriage are here.